Business in Bare Feet, and I want to follow on. We did a previous video on commitment and that vision and that energy behind being committed to something. I want to follow on with the idea. I heard this term the other day and I wish I could remember where from, but it's about escalating commitment. And it's understanding, well, where does it go from here? And this also involves, well, have we gone too far? Have we gone far enough? So I want you to hang on for the ride and we'll talk about who we're talking to here. So you might think that something's not quite right, okay? Maybe your product's not hitting the market. Maybe you're not getting the investor interest that you thought you were. Maybe you're not gathering the team that you thought you might be able to gather and being able to inspire them. And, or, you know, things are just generally not coming together. And you just have this uneasy, you know, often entrepreneurs have this uneasy feeling like it's just not quite right. And yeah, you're finding your resources are getting very, very tight and people are not committing. Okay, people around you are not committing. That's usually a sign that you're not committing either and that you need to really reevaluate. So internally and externally, things may not be quite working. Well, this is for you guys. If things are going great for you, listen anyway, because there might be something in here so you can just keep improving and keep growing your business. And so that's something I want to talk about today. So why do we need to escalate commitment? Well, we need to know if something's working or if something's not. I come across too many businesses that have been around for a while now and they just go, oh, well, it's not broken, so let's not play with it, let's not fix it. And so they have created a culture where they're no longer innovating. Now, when we're in the entrepreneurial cycle, when we're building a business from startup or we're building a business through a fast growth phase, we can't afford that attitude. We can't afford to say, well, it's not broke, so we don't fix it. We need to challenge every process. We need to think about everything we're doing. We need to get eyes from outside to look at what we're doing and to non-judgmentally and non-emotionally evaluate where we're at and what we need to do. We need to change course or simply bite the bullet that maybe we need to shut down, and that could be a reality for you too. I used to work with an organization called Wind Up Well, and it was all about helping people understand, and it's really hard for business people because it's not just about what we do, it's our life, it's that energy behind it, and it was helping them understand that, okay, this thing's reached an end of life. How do we wind it up graciously? And so I've been on both sides of that fence, in the startup and in the shutdown. And so I understand the emotions of both and understand where you're at today. If you're just struggling just to think, okay, what do I do next? How do I take to the next step? So why do we need to escalate commitment? Why do we need to understand about this commitment? Well, we need to know when the time's right to make change, okay? So the other side of constantly challenging the process is we can create something that never actually becomes something because we just keep challenging. We keep saying it's not good enough. And so we need to make sure we set measured path, set great goals and objectives to achieve what we need to achieve so that we know also whether we achieve something or not and whether we need to change track. And so we need to know that change, we might need to bite the bullet. And as I said before, we might need to shut something down. We need to create that emotion-free space. And so that's what we want to do a Business in Bare Feet. We can create that emotion-free space where we can critically look at what you're doing, look at where you're at, and guide you in that process. And as part of our community, you know, we'd love you to become part of that story. So the outcome is that we get a very clear picture on what we're on about and what we should be doing. We do set up a culture of change in the business. So when we grow a business from just us to hopefully a multi-million, multi-billion dollar business, whatever you want, as you do, you'll create that culture. And in business, I talk about the 5 wells of successful business. And one of the areas is that constant innovation. And it's not innovation for innovation's sake, it's sustainable. It's something we can afford, and it's something that makes sense to our business. It's not just, okay, we're doing this today, so over here we're going to do this tomorrow. It's actually constantly doing that. So we can critically look at that, and that's part of the Business in Bare Feet community, is being able to look at that. And so that's where we get to explore outcomes before they happen. For example, you might come across someone who's done something that you're trying to do before, and you might look at what they're doing and go, oh, they did something over here, or they didn't do something over here, and that could have been the key to their success. And you can learn from that mistake, or you can learn from that miss and go for it. So you can get a better analysis, a better community of people. And so that's, you know, something like Business in Bare Feet. It doesn't have to be us, but you need to get people around you who are going to really help you in that commitment space and who are going to help you escalate commitment. And somebody who's going to say, you know what, that's it. enough's enough. This isn't working, let's try something else, let's do something different, let's re-resource. And that could be someone as simple as your partner, your wife or husband, who's saying, you know what, we've soaked enough into this, we need to know when to stop. And quite often as entrepreneurs, we don't know when to do that. And so that's something to think about as well. So the action item today, what would I love you to do? If you were me, okay? I come in and look at your business, myself or Mark, my co-founder, we come in and look at your business. If you were one of us and we were looking at your business, what would we say? What would we tell you to do? Separate yourself from the fact that this is an emotional journey. Separate yourself from the fact that you've sunk money into this. And think about it. If somebody from outside, non-judgmental, looking at it purely as an investment, came to you today and said, here it is, what would they say? That would be your action item to write it down, and we'd love to hear your stories and your comments around what you've come up with. So I hope you have a great day. I'm Jono, one of the co-founders of Business in Bare Feet. Look forward to talking with you soon.